news is PlayStation Showcase is next Thursday, September 9th. Usually I don't put news like this on here just because it's like, oh, it's going to happen next week. But there are a couple of things that, have been circling around the news. One in particular, Sly 5. There was a thing about, I think it was like 4chan or some bullshit that was like, hey, like Sly 5's in early development. My source says this and that. And then, I just want to like get my sort of like 2 cents out there about another Sly Cooper game. And like obviously I love Sly Cooper, like that is literally my childhood platformer game right there. And say what you will about Sly 4, since our games love that series and they put a lot of work and effort into making that game what it is today. And sort of hearing about Sly 5 being in development and seeing people on Twitter, seeing Sly Cooper trend on certain days when like Insomniac dropped that image of, him going through the portal and everything like that. I love seeing that there's still love and support out for Sly Cooper, but a Sly 5 happening, I'm still holding my breath on it. Obviously, like if it gets announced, I won't like have internet access when the showcase happens because I'll be on a flight. But if it gets announced and I see it on Twitter, you fucking know that I will be 100% excited for it. Even if it looks like shit, I'm gonna be honest. Like I just love Sly Cooper that much, and anything Sly Cooper related after 4, it has been very like sort of hit or miss. We got that movie announcement that silently got canceled, and then there was like a Netflix TV show that was supposed to happen with that same studio, but I don't know what the hell's going on with that. But details of a Sly 5 are obviously very exciting for a Sly Cooper fan myself, but will it happen? Who the hell knows? Because at this point, I feel like Sly Cooper fans are sort of just like drawing straws at this point, or grasping at nothing or whatever. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
I think it's a good time for Sly to come back because when Sly 4 came out, 3D platformers were kind of like dead.
Agreed.
Like it came out right. I think the PS4 was just about to come out.
Yeah,
it did came out.
It literally came out at the end of the PS3's lifespan.
Yeah, so Sly 5 and like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, not Rift Apart, Into the Nexus both kind of got like fucked a bit because they were like, oh, let's release them at the end of the PS3 gen when no one gives a crap. And they were both 3D platform. Like obviously Ratchet has a bigger IP name at this point, but Sly was kind of just sent to die, I feel. If they just held Sly 4 for the beginning of the PS4 gen, I feel like it would have done better. But also, the current climate is way different now. I think gaming is a lot more diverse, honestly. And, we had like 2, or I guess even like Crash, I know like it's not great timing because, Vicarious Visions kind of died. But, Crash 4 came out last year. We got Ratchet and Psychonauts 2 came out this year. Both did pretty well, as, considering. And I don't know. I think the world is ready for another like big 3D platformer. Like those are like 2 big 3D platformers that came out this year, and I think Sly 5 has a place now. So hopefully it comes out. I would definitely love it. I love Sly as well. At least Sly gets acknowledged. Jack and Daxter are kind of just dead forever, which is fine. Honestly, I have more of a childhood attachment, obviously, to Ratchet and Clank, but also Jack and Daxter because I also played it as a kid. But I definitely would think Jack is the weakest out of the 3. But it would be nice to see them come back. But yeah, a Sly 5 that would be really cool. I really hope it happens.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment about, the gaming landscape is definitely a lot different from what it was back in, like 2013 when Sly 4 came out or whatever. So, that is like a very good point to bring up. And, I'm just looking at the sort of like tweet replies some people are asking for, a Jack and Daxter remake collection or something like that. And I believe the date for this showcase falls on Crash's 25th anniversary, so who knows, they might announce another Crash game. But I'm holding my breath on that because, Activision is kind of like up in flames right now. But, if we get like a remake or something with Sly Cooper, like I will 100% be very excited for that because that will give me another excuse to play through the games again. But yeah, I mean, since our games got eaten up by Oculus, I believe, so they are 100% not going to be developing a Sly Cooper game anytime soon. And that was sort of like the last sort of like shot in the dark for me personally. So I don't know who's going to be developing this next Sly Cooper game. If it is Sucker Punch, that would be very exciting. But I doubt that. I feel like that they've moved on from Sly Cooper. They love obviously the raccoon, but they have sort of been very open about being like, hey, like we know Sly's still around, but they are sort of like Naughty Dog, but like Naughty Dog actually attempted Jack 4, but they went like too realistic and too edgy for their own good and sort of like scrapped that project of Jack 4 to begin with. But yeah, I mean, there's also the discussion about people hoping for some Spider-Man 2 stuff, maybe like a teaser or something like that. And yeah, I mean, this isn't a state of play, so I think that expectations for this PlayStation Showcase are a lot higher, which is understandable. But then again, when it comes to these press events and these sort of like conferences or whatever, I always keep my expectations very low, just so, if something does get announced and it's very exciting, I can actually get excited about it and not sort of like temper my expectations, if you will. But, Spider-Man 2, obviously Miles Morales did very well for Insomniac Games and also for Miles Morales as a character. So, seeing anything Spider-Man related for the PS5 would be very cool as well. But, other than that, I'm not sure exactly what else to expect from the PlayStation Showcase, honestly.
I'll probably expect like a deeper look into God of War, like an actual like trailer for it instead of just a logo. I think that's pretty realistic to come up with. I would like to see a new Final Fantasy 16 trailer as well. I'd like to see like an actual release date because for Yoshi P, the guy who made, or not made, but the guy who basically made Final Fantasy 14 is super involved with 16 because he's like the main, I think, producer or director, I forget. And he basically said all the English voiceover is done and like the story is almost done and stuff. Like, so like I think realistically it could come out the end of next year. So I would like a trailer, but besides that, those are the only two things I could realistically see being there. Maybe like a tease for Naughty Dog's like multiplayer thing, because I think they're working on some multiplayer thing now. So maybe like a little teaser for that. But besides that, I'm expecting a lot of other third-party stuff to show up, some smaller indie stuff, like maybe a lot of updates for games we still haven't seen yet. And some of the other showcases, they might show that as well. But that's kind of what I'm expecting. Maybe Spider-Man 2 for like a last big bang, like to show like just a small little teaser. But I don't suspect that game to come out for a bit either, because Sony just like, I mean, they did Miles and then Ratchet Rift Apart, so like they've been busy. I know Sony is always pretty busy, but yeah, it'd be pretty insane if they were to release Spider-Man 2 like next year. But yeah, those are about my expectations for it. I think I'm keeping them pretty low on the ground. I'm mostly expecting a God of War thing, honestly. So
yeah, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
I think that those two are sort of like shoo-ins, hopefully. This is a PS5 showcase, so it's going to be mostly big and small PS5 titles. So, Sly Cooper could be one of the small ones, but I'm once again holding my breath on that. Not going to sort of, expect that per se, because I've been saying a new Sly Cooper game is going to be at E3 every single year, and it doesn't happen, but it is what it is. So this PlayStation Showcase, it happens next week. Hopefully we do get some pretty spicy and interesting titles for people to enjoy.
Yeah, and probably make people actually like not regret the PS5 purchase.
I mean,
I don't regret it. I use it, but
yeah, I mean, I use it a lot for like movies and streaming services, but for the games, I've only played the two Insomniac titles, which are Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man.
Yeah, Insomniac is really carrying right now. So.
They're carrying them right now, but we'll move on from there into our recent